Hi, and welcome to the third video in the series of losing weight and keeping it off, right? Because keeping it off is certainly the main objective here, right? And this is why I sort of have introduced it this way. Like we started in video one to get the mindset right, to understand that we need to make a change and give up all this thinking about how we are going to leave everything behind. I remember when I gave up smoking, right, that I did not think I could ever have a good social time again, sitting with people and talking and drinking and all this stuff without having this fag stuck in my mouth, right? But now I never ever think about it, right? I never think about it. And I gave it up almost 10 or so more years ago. And it wasn't easy. Don't take me wrong. It wasn't easy, but I did it, right? And the fact that I did it was largely contributed to the fact that I had some these things you put on your body, right? They look like Band-Aids, and you can put them on your body, patches they call them, and they sort of supply you with a certain amount of nicotine so you don't have to sort of smoke, and you don't smoke so much. But what really helped me, and I have a video on that there somewhere, is that I got an advice from one of my clients, and they said, when I was telling her, I give up smoking, and she said, "Oh, that's great. I did too. Look, if you get a craving, you're really craving, just tell yourself, yeah, I'll have a cigarette, but leave it for later, right? Just say, I'll have a cigarette later, and just drink a large glass of water." And then what you'll find is that you forget about it. So 4 or 5 or 6 hours later, you suddenly think, oh, I really feel like a cigarette. And then you can either just have a little cigarette, or you can tell yourself again, hey, right, I'll have one later. And that's what I did, and I gave it up, right? And it was, as I said, it was not easy, but it wasn't that unpleasant that I thought, right? So maybe you can have a go at that. So it is not a matter of this strict discipline and powering yourself to put up with all this stuff and whatever. All it is just a little bit of choices and maybe a little bit of delayed gratification, if you like, right? I'll explain what I mean by that. So in this video anyway, we're going to talk about eating less, okay? Eating less. My doctor always said that to me when I came in. He said, "Look, Nick, you need to lose weight. Come on, you need to lose weight." And I said, "Well, that's easy for you to say, right? But how do I do it?" And he said, "Just eat less." I said, "You're crazy. Eat less. What does that mean, eat less, right? Because I'm hungry. I wake up, I'm hungry. I run around and I do stuff, and we get to lunchtime and I'm hungry. We get to the evening, I'm hungry. We get to 8 o'clock at night, I'm hungry, right? I was forever hungry, right? So I did a lot of research to find out what he was talking about, right? And what I found out was this, a partial fasting technique, right? So, and you go, wow, fasting, not, wow, that means not eating. What about all my stuff and all my, whatever I eat and drink and whatever, yeah? But bear with me here, partial fasting means that, of course, that you try to not eat for a while, right? Yeah? And most of the problems that you have is insulin, not insulin, insulin. Your hyper insulin restriction. Now I suddenly can't remember the word for it, right? But anyway, and you are so used to getting sugar, so maybe that's a better way to explain it anyway, that the body craves it all the time, and it's like your mind, you can't think of anything else than getting food when you are, hungry, right? So you have to insulin resistant is this called, right? You have to sort of lower your insulin resistance, because a normal person who has a good metabolism, they after they eat, like 3 or 4 hours later, it's all burned off, right? They can eat a huge meal and then, in no time burn it off. But we, for some reason, us that are a little bit overweight, we cannot, because the insulin resistant stops us from metabolizing the food that we've just had, right? It also stops us from utilizing the stored food that we have in our body. So without being too technical here, right, I want to suggest to you that you now start reducing the amount of times that you eat, okay? You're not going to die, you're not going to suffer, all right? But again, the caveat I put in my channel is, something that you need to be seriously aware of, that I am not a medical practitioner. I have no idea what your body is like or anything like that. So before you start following any of my advice here, I suggest that you get a health check, right? Now, with a health check, I suggest you get a full screen blood test. That means there's about 10 or 11 things they can test for in your blood, okay? Not just 2 or 3. And you also want a copy of that blood test so you can study it, okay? Because as a general GP, doctors only receive about a few hours in about, weight loss and weight gain and this sort of thing, right? So they're not a qualified authority on teaching you how to lose weight, right? So just understand that you have to do your own due diligence and you have to do your own research to make up the knowledge that you will have about losing your weight, okay? And, don't think for a minute that I am here to tell you what to do, because that is not the case, and I will enter into no argument or discussion about what I'm suggesting to you here, because this is what I'm following and this is what I have had success with for now the last 3 months, okay? So if you wish to follow my example and you wish to see if this is helping you, right? Then 2 things, if you want to study it in depth, I say this, then in the bottom there's a link there. I get most of my information from there, but also I have done my own research, and this is the program that I'm following, and this is what is doing it for me, okay? So please do not come and tell me, look, I followed your program and, it's all your fault, it's not working. No. That is not the case here, because you are a grown person of intelligent nature, and you are able to take your own decisions and make up your own mind about what you're going to do. I merely suggest to you that this is what I have done and I have had success with, okay? So I started fasting, and actually, as a matter of fact, I only eat once a day. Right? Once a day. You might be horrified by the thought. I was when I first started. But when I eat, I eat at 6 o'clock at night, and I simply eat protein, okay? Protein. Yeah? Now, there's a whole school of arguments about different things about, high carbohydrate diets and low carbohydrate diet and all this sort of stuff, right? Atkins was ridiculed for his beliefs, and he, especially that when he passed away, for his thinking. But 5 or 10 years later, the CSIRO came back and said, look, he was actually right. The Atkins diet is actually probably one of the best diets in the world, right? And of course, it restricts the carbohydrates, and also, by the way, it does restrict to a certain extent the protein, right? So, having said that, it's an individual journey, and you need to be aware of all of these things before you start doing anything. So consult your healthcare professional with your plan before you start doing it, okay? Before. Have a health check to make sure that you are physically okay to do these things, right? Tell them what you intend to do and listen to their advice, okay? But for me, what I did, I eat at 6 o'clock, I eat about a 250 gram of protein, and then I spice it up with lettuce and fruits and salads and stuff and whatever, right? But I only eat that one meal, and I eat a lot of fat and I eat a lot of butter, and it has no effect on me whatsoever in terms of putting weight on, right? I'm actually losing weight. I have done so for the last 3 months, okay? Now, a lot of things has changed. My health has improved immensely. My belt size, I don't weigh myself at the moment because I really don't want to look at this scale and you know, and have that determine whether I should feel good or not about myself, right? So I look at my belt size, I look at my clothes that I used to wear, and I have stepped down 3 sizes in my belt, right? It's actually going on 4 now. So imagine that you know, you know that is a measure of something happening, right? So, and also the visceral fat inside your body takes a long time to get rid of. So, you know, this is a good way of doing it. Just simply, you know, check your measurements, okay? Check your measurements and you'll see this is happening. So, not to make a long story out of this, I eat only once a day at 6 o'clock. If I, for some reason, sometimes I'm doing something at that time, then I eat, you know, immediately after. Or if it's going to be too late, then I eat before, right? So, but around that time, that's what I eat. Then I don't eat from then on for the whole next, you know, obviously when I sleep, I don't eat. And then I wake up and I don't eat again before 6 o'clock at night again. And I have no cravings whatsoever. Okay, you know, when I do eat again, I eat milk, yogurt, butter, fat. Yes, lard. I eat lard. You know, real fat, and you know, my cholesterol has gone down and everything. So forget about all this nonsense out there about, you know, you cannot eat butter and you cannot eat fat and you got too much cholesterol and that sort of thing, right? But again, do your own study, do your own research. So that's what I'm doing. So if you want to follow that, stop buying all the stuff. It reduces your food bill to about 50%, if not more, and just go to the supermarket and pick out just, you know, protein, 250 gram. Get some light salad, get some light fruit, get some light, you know what I mean. If you have any questions, whatever, please, you know, direct them to me and I should be happy to answer them. And if you want to follow this program in depth, then, you know, also remember that in the bottom there's a link there. You can study there if you want to, okay? So, but this is a start for you. Get started, keep up your exercise, keep your mind healthy and happy. And I shall see you in number 4 video, okay? The next video ready for you. This is Nick Struan. Thank you for listening and enjoy your day.